distance, that is the Coleman Regional Medical Center. This camera is in a really good position to kind of watch these storms. And again, down below that U.S. Highway 278 that's east of Coleman, we're looking northeast right into these storms. And again, seeing a lot of reports of damage from the storm up in northern Madison County, north of Huntsville, kind of hugging the Tennessee state line. That is clearly the storm of the day. I will say the circulation does not look as intense on the last volume scan that is near Eva, that's approaching Baileyton and Fairview, but it doesn't matter. These things are cyclic, and based on the environmental conditions today, conditions favor the possibility of these long-track tornadoes. So again, doesn't matter. The next volume scan might show a really tight circulation, so do not let your guard down. In fact, if you can't put WEX 05 back behind me, this will show the circulation that is on the Coleman-Morgan County line. Okay, this is very close to Eva, and again, that's going to be dropping on down to the south
James,
and east.
They've added another tornado warning to that Coleman County storm. So where they had the severe thunderstorm warning, they've actually issued a tornado warning on that as well now.
Wow. All right, well, let's go
until 7:30. So
what I want to do here, I'm going to change the radar site down here to Birmingham. And again, in a situation like this, we kind of, oh yeah.
There we go.
That's it. All right, so this is a new tornado warning for Coleman County. And this is a storm that looks like it's near the eastern shore of Smith Lake near Crane Hill. Okay, it's this thing right here. That's your new circulation. So this is a new circulation entering Coleman County out of Winston County. And this will be moving a little south of east. The city of Coleman is right here. And more than likely, this is going to be coming down in this direction right down through here. You've got Good Hope, which is here. This is Dodge City right down in through here. So again, Coleman, the city of Coleman is in this tornado warning polygon. Technically, you're in 2 right now. But for the circulation up here that's approaching Fairview and Baileyton, that's going to stay northeast of you, and most likely this one stays south of downtown Coleman, but it doesn't matter. If you're in a polygon, what do? Respect the polygon and go to a safe place. Small room, lowest floor, near the center, away from windows. No mobile homes and no cars. And let me just say, this tornadic circulation here more than likely is going to be crossing Interstate 65 near Good Hope, or maybe a little south of there. The Good Hope exit, that's Alabama Highway 69 north, that forks up going into Coleman. It intersects with US 31, which is right over in through here. So everybody in the western part of Coleman County, west of I-65, north of Dodge City, understand you need to be sheltered right now. This includes the city of Coleman, city of Good Hope. And this is probably going to take about 30 minutes to get this one through. This is a tornado warning that is going to be in effect until 7:30 for Coleman County. And again, Charles, you keep a close eye on that Coleman Skycam. And we're about to lose our light of day here, which I know is a challenge. But we thank goodness for daylight saving time and the fact that we have these longer days now. So what we're going to do is move the camera back to a position where we're looking to the west, and we'll see if we can see anything on. In fact, let's take that Coleman Skycam full screen of cam for just a minute. I want to be able to see the full view of this thing and kind of zoom into that break in the clouds back in there, Charles, if we can. Yeah. Again, this is a live look at our Skycam in the city of Coleman. There is a tornado warning in effect, and keep in mind, we do have a particularly dangerous situation this evening with this. This is a Pds Tornado Watch. All right, so pan a little bit to the left, and again, we're going to watch right there and see if we can see anything coming down from this particular part of this thunderstorm. This is a severe storm approaching the city of Coleman. There is a fair chance the greatest rotation might stay a little south of Coleman, but again, if you're in the city of Coleman, you be in a safe place. If you live in Good Hope, you want to be in a safe place. Any place we call out, you can't take any chances with this, as this thunderstorm is showing very strong signs of rotation. And again, we're watching this live, and at the same time, there is a second circulation. And I would encourage anybody from Holly Pond all the way up to Baileyton, Fairview, you got to be in a safe place right now. I'll be honest with you, the circulation on that northeast part of Coleman County is weakened a good bit. The dominant circulation is the circulation that is near Crane Hill on the eastern shore of Smith Lake, moving toward Interstate 65. We encourage no travel along Interstate 65 at this point from Blunt Springs all the way to Decatur. because of these dangerous storms. This is not a time you want to be traveling, but especially avoid Interstate 65 in Coleman County for sure. And again, we're going to keep a close eye on that. As we lose our light of day, we're going to be dependent on lightning to illuminate the features we have to look for. And boy, that makes it hard. We're going to have to look for wall clouds or a funnel cloud or a tornado based on lightning illumination, and that is extremely challenging, but we're going to hang on to every bit of daylight we have. So we're working two separate circulations. We have one that is in the vicinity of Baileyton and Fairview, Joppa, Holly Pond, Arab. If we call out your town, you need to be sheltered. You've been under a tornado warning for a while. And again, what I'm going to do here, let's leave that Skycam full screen for just a second. I think I'm going to go, probably the best thing to do is show some actual images coming in from the viewers here. So hang on just a second.
I'm just going to keep looking back and forth and just see if we can't pick up anything. I'm afraid we're going to get some very heavy rain soon, and we're going to lose the image here. But a lot of lightning with the storm as it's bearing down on the camera location.
Now let's go to WEXO 5 for just a minute. These are images from West Point, the Bethel community. And again, that looks like a shelf cloud with the storms coming in a little earlier this evening. That's on the leading edge of a storm. To look for a wall cloud or a tornado, you look back on the back edge of a storm. This is going to be a shot here from Double Springs. And again, a lot of ominous clouds today, but so far we've had no reports of tornadoes in our market. All right, so this is going to be an interesting video here. Let's see. Boy, look at that. I'm seeing a lot of damage here. This is possible tornado damage on West Lacon Road over to Highway 55. Reports of many trees and power lines down. Watch that transformer explode back there. Did you guys see that? Again, this is coming from Chris Jackson. Chris is a meteorologist from South Carolina who's down here on the storm chase. Again, let me re-rack that thing one time. You saw that power flash back in through there. Let's go back to our Coleman Skycam. We'll take that live. And again, we're going to be watching that carefully. And again, Charles, we're watching all these reports coming in.
Let's seen a lot out of Moulton in that area.
Yeah, let's take another, let's go back to WEXO 5 for just a minute if we can. This is going to be some, this is some video near I-65 and US 278 in Coleman County. And this is from Bob Johnson. Bob says hail is starting to fall as he types this message. And again, that is just north of Coleman. In fact, let me show you this image. This is going to be pretty impressive storm structure. This is County Road 55 in Double Springs. That's that storm coming out of Winston County. And again, that's the one that's coming into Coleman County right now. And again, that looks like a rain shaft right there. A lot of, we appreciate all these images coming in this evening. This is hail that came down at Haleyville. That looks like it's smaller than 1 inch in diameter. But again, let's go back to this Coleman Skycam. We'll take that full screen, and then we'll go back to the radar. We're working a severe weather outbreak, and it looks like rain is starting to overspread the city of Coleman, which means we can't see much. So let's go back to the graphic system. Let me just point out everybody that's in a tornado warning. If you're in red, you're in a tornado warning. If you're in the shades of orange, that is a severe thunderstorm warning. So in terms of Coleman County, you got a tornado warning in effect now for the city of Coleman, the city of Hanceville, the city of Good Hope. Dodge City is involved in this. Holly Pond. You've got Fairview and Baileyton and Simcoe, Joppa and Arab. That whole northeastern part of Coleman County is under a tornado warning for a storm that is, for two separate storms that have shown some pretty strong signs of rotation. We've got one evidence of rotation that's coming through the northeastern part of the county. It's passing really between Baileyton and Holly Pond. But let's go back to WEXO 5 behind me. This is going to be the velocity display. We've got very well-defined circulation that's about to cross Interstate 65, and that's going to be pretty close to Coleman. So again, Good Hope is here, Coleman is here, Alabama Highway 69 runs right up through here, Heritage Park sits right there, the Walmart sits right there. If you are in the city of Coleman, the city of Good Hope, you've got to be sheltered, and nobody Nobody should be driving along Interstate 65 right now in Coleman County, just period. You've got to wait until this circulation passes. So again, that is very, very strong circulation passing right through Coleman County. Anything on that sky cam, Charles? We're getting really close. I would imagine it's probably wrapped in rain, right?
Well, the rain's so heavy, but I wouldn't be surprised to see some hail falling in that area. The Ville is off the charts, so we're seeing some high levels of vertically integrated liquid. And I'm just trying to take a look. You can see there's the heavy rainfall coming down. Folks are still driving at a pretty good clip, so y'all be careful if you're out there. You shouldn't be out there. You should let this pass. But I was just kind of trying to take a look to see if we could get anything as far as maybe a view of some hail coming down. A lot of lightning, but at this point, visibility after just a couple of 100 yards is nothing. You've got the rain in the way. We can't see anything at this point. But that also means your visibility, if you're trying to drive in this mess, is greatly, greatly limited. So y'all be safe out there. We ask that you stay inside and let this one pass by and be in that safe place right now unless it's absolutely vital that you're out. But please don't be out there in this.
All right, and again, let's go back to the radar. New volume scan. We've got the circulation that is very, very close to sitting on I-65 right now. Coleman, Good Hope, Alabama 69, US 31 going down to Hanceville, 31 going up to Vinemont. Circulation right here about to come through the southern part of the city of Coleman. Same thing, you've got to be sheltered, and if you're in your safe place, we advise everybody to have on a helmet, a bicycle helmet or a batting helmet. This goes for adults. Our opinion, every life is precious, no matter if you're young or old. You might look silly, but that will mitigate the loss of life if you take a direct hit. Having a portable air horn, if you take a direct hit and you need help, you might be injured, you can't call for assistance, you can't vocalize your need for help, you can squeeze that air horn. First responders have been trained to listen for that. And hard-sole shoes, your feet will be shredded if you walk through a tornado debris field with bare feet or just socks or tennis shoes. It doesn't cost a lot to have those things, but they're very important to have in a shelter. And again, that circulation you can see right now is just coming right across Interstate 65 in Coleman County, and that continues to work its way onto the east. So in about 10 minutes, maybe less than that, we can clear that Interstate 65 corridor. And again, Charles, that thing is shaking and baking. That camera is rocking.
It certainly is. In fact, I thought we lost power for a moment. We might have had a quick flash coming off and on there with that. But yeah, and you can see, I'm telling you, there's got to be some hail right in there, and that's what I was looking at. But yeah, it's starting to get pretty windy there. Of course, the anemometer might be broken at this point. It's showing calm winds, but definitely.
Yeah, we're
really
getting
down.
a lot of public reports
Really
of
coming down.
very large hail. In fact, I'll show you one here in just a second. We appreciate everybody taking the time to send these in to us. Your pictures are a lifeline for us. We've got 8 spotters out, 8 live streamers out, but we still need those pictures. In fact, let's take WEX 05 if we can. That's an example of hail that's falling in the city of Coleman right now.
Oh my gosh.
Let's go to Adair's live stream. We got hail falling on his stream right now. Again, he is in apparently Coleman. Is that right, Chris? Okay, this is Brett Adair's live stream in Coleman, and it looks like he's got hail bouncing off his hood, and the windshield is cracked. You can see that crack apparently from large hail. So again, this is a live look from Interstate 65 in Coleman, and it almost looks like there's been some hail that's accumulated there on the interstate. And we're watching those cloud bases. We have a little daylight left, not much, but again, we're going to watch this very carefully all together, and we'll see if we see any evidence of the tornado. This thing is probably totally wrapped in rain. The tornado events we have here are not the clean type events like they have in the Great Plains, because ours are HP supercells. But again, I stress while we're watching this, we have a new severe thunderstorm warning for Winston County until 8 o'clock for the possibility of large hail. And again, we're going to focus on tornadoes here, but understand many of you are under severe thunderstorm warnings. Severe thunderstorm warning for Winston County until 8 o'clock for the possibility of large hail. And again, we have a tornado warning in effect for this Coleman County storm. We have a tornado warning for Coleman and Marshall counties until 7:45. We're getting reports now of baseball-sized hail 2 miles southwest of Coleman.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that at all. The Ville is off the charts on this. And just even the reflectivity, James, has been that bright purple color as high as it goes between Coleman and Good Hope. And I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get that at the camera, just hammering the camera here any moment. If you notice how, let's show the Coleman Skycam if we can. Of course, there's the live stream of one of the chasers, but the camera is now getting hammered.
Wow.
And you could see some of that hail bouncing off of the rails and stuff around the camera. So it's just getting pounded at this point. And wouldn't be surprised to see this camera go offline just by the pummeling that it's getting right now. But you can see the hail bouncing off the camera there every once in a while.
Yeah,
My
again,
goodness.
for those that don't know, the Skycam in Coleman is located at the water treatment facility, which is located just east of downtown Coleman. And again, this is a very violent storm with very large hail. Again, we've had reports in the last few minutes of baseball-sized hail with this storm in Coleman. We have potential for a tornado as well. Everybody in the city of Coleman should remain sheltered. You can see wind. That's a 1 minute average of 24 miles an hour.
Yeah, data finally came back up.
The
Wow.
peak is probably more extreme than that. But again, we're just going to sit here and watch this for a minute. We've had Brett Adair's shot up, and I don't believe we have his available at the moment. Okay. In fact, he's down at that rest stop that is south of Coleman.
54 was the high wind speed, James. 54 miles an hour was the peak wind speed at the Coleman Skycam.
There you go. So again, we had a peak wind gust of how many? I'm sorry, Charles.
54.
54 miles per hour at the Coleman Skycam site. And we are fortunate to still have power at that site. Again, this is a very dangerous storm. This is Brett Adair's shot. Brett is at the rest stop along Interstate 65. He is south of Coleman. And let me just say, we've got multiple circulations here. We've got circulation that is now east of I-65. He's looking back into that storm, which is now east of I-65. Let's give it about 5 more minutes. We'll clear I-65, but it sure looks like the core circulation is off to the east. We've got a pretty good circulation that's passing north of Holly Pond. That came through Baileyton. And possibly a third circulation that's about to cross over into Marshall County, not too far from Douglas, almost scooting into northern Blount County. All of these things are starting to rotate here, so there's a lot of circulations on radar, and we have multiple tornado warnings in effect. And again, we've got reports of baseball-sized hail from Coleman. So let's go back to me in the main graphic system, Max 1. Just wanted to show the big picture, if we will. So let's take a look at this. We've been focusing on these dangerous, life-threatening storms, but I want to take a really big picture and show what else is happening here, Charles. I want to see Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Anniston, Gadsden. We got to watch these things over here. You see these individual storms that are forming. In fact, let's look at this one that's near Tuscaloosa. These things can pop and really intensify in a hurry. It looks like there's one up here in the northern part of Tuscaloosa County. That's the one I'm seeing here, working in this smaller box. This is far in northern Tuscaloosa County. At any time, a storm could pop between now and midnight tonight, and they could go severe. They could immediately become severe with hail, and before you know it, the storms are rotating, and we might have more tornado warnings. So just because you haven't had a storm yet, that doesn't mean that your party is over. The evening is young, and we're going to have the risk of severe storms until 11 o'clock or midnight tonight, but for now, we'll keep a close eye on that. But there's your tornado watch, and again, we've got these tornado warnings in effect for parts of Marshall and Coleman counties, severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for parts of Winston County. Let's put the radar data back on here with this wide view. And again, I want to go back
out.
Yeah, I want to go back to this big view and notice if you're in Gadsden, the storms are getting close to you. They'll be coming in from the west. If you're in Anniston, things are quiet. If you're in Birmingham, things are quiet. But the storms are propagating down to the south and east, and with time, you'll deal with some storms. You could see large hail. Hailstones may be up to the size of baseballs. We have that in these storms now in Coleman County. The possibility of a tornado, and again, we have not had one so far. Fantastic. We hope we don't. But conditions favor maybe 1 or 2 of these long track tornadoes this evening. If we can get a dominant storm that's out there by itself. These storms are competing for inflow, and I think that's one thing that's helped us with these storms. We've had these circulations, but so far, no major reports of any damage. But again, clearly, these things could produce a tornado. So that's the situation. Let's go back and kind of work our way from the west here. Let's take a look at our storm in Winston County. This is a thunderstorm that is currently located over the eastern part of Winston County, and we could see some hail falling in this storm. This is east of Haleyville. And again, this is over toward Addison and Jones Chapel in the eastern part of Coleman County. So that's your severe thunderstorm warning. There's no tornado warning in effect for Winston County. Now let's shift it over to Coleman County. And the reason we are here, we have a tornado warning. And again, you see this inflow notch on this storm right here. This is the one that dropped that really large hail in Coleman. And oftentimes with the inflow notch, you could have a tornadic circulation right here. This is where the velocity couplet has been. That velocity couplet is still very dominant on radar. It's passing north of the city of Hanceville, but Hanceville is in the warning. You should be sheltered right now. But we can give an all clear. Interstate 65. Now, this is from the tornado warning, not from all storms, but from this one tornado warning. Interstate 65 and points west. From this storm, you are now safe. You can come out of your shelter. The concern is for areas east of I-65. Inflow notch, the possibility of a tornado, again, north of Hanceville. Hanceville is sitting right down here. Tornadic circulation sitting about right here. That'll keep on moving to the east. Again, this Alabama Highway 91 right here. Community of Walter, community of Holly Pond sits right in through here. So let's go back to our high-res radar, and I'll show you that velocity couplet that is north of Hanceville that will kind of match up with that. So here we go. You can see that's where you've got this possible tornadic circulation. Garden City is down here. That's U.S. Highway 31. This is a little northeast of Hanceville. Nobody should be traveling along Alabama Highway 91 now between Hanceville and Holly Pond near Walter. Nobody should be in that zone driving. Alabama 91 between Hanceville and Holly Pond, as the circulation will likely cross right in through there. If we can, let's go back to, did we lose the Skycam, Charles?
Yeah, I think we had a power out. I just reset it, but I think the power went out for a minute and we lost contact with the camera.
Right, now we got a tornado warning for Blunt. All right,
yep.
So this is going to be for this storm that you're looking at right here, okay? So this is a tornado warning in effect for Blount County, as this storm will be scooting across the northern part of Blount County. Let's go back to our main graphic system, and I want to show that polygon, Charles, without any radar data, so we can just clearly tell people who's in and who's out.
All right, let me pull it up on a different map.
Okay, so what we're going to do is take off the radar data and we'll zoom in to northern Blount here, and let me just show you who's in and who's out. This is an extension of the warning we have for Coleman County. So again, in terms of the communities, this is Susan Moore right here, okay? This is Bluntsville, this is right here. Down here, this is Cleveland. In Cleveland, you're kind of sitting on the edge of this polygon. If you're in Cleveland, I would still be in a safe place. Is a course of least regret. Technically, right there at the crossroads, you're not in it, but you're close. That's the southern edge of the polygon right here. This does not include Aniana. Pull this thing up, Charles, and I'll show you where Aniana is in relation to the polygon. The city of Aniana is right there. That's the southern edge of your polygon. So you got Cleveland here, Aniana here, that's U.S. Highway 231. So this does not include the city of Aniana. Now, you might hear a siren or your weather radio might be sounding, but remember, we don't issue warnings based on counties. We issue warnings based on geometric shapes called polygons. And if you're in the polygon, you respect it and you go to a safe place. So this is a call to action now for northern Blount County, right in through here. Again, Susan Moore is right here. That's up Alabama Highway 75. That's Alabama Highway 79. Bluntsville is right here. Bluntsville is included in this. Susan Moore is in this. The community of Douglas in Marshall County. Sneed in Blount County is in this. Brooksville in Blount County is in this. So a tornado warning until 8 o'clock tonight for the northern part of Blount County. We do have a Skycam that is in Aniana, and it's dark, though. That's the problem, you know, and we can look up from the south. It's really in a good position. You want to be south of the storm, looking up in it. So now we've got in our boxes, first off, that looks like people that are sheltered in a tornado shelter in Coleman. Stephen Quinn is there. And then in the lower box, this is one of our streamers in Hanceville. And again, we're getting buffering here. But in that lower left box, that is large hail that is falling in Hanceville, probably the northern part of Hanceville. And that guy's very close to what could be a tornadic circulation. And again, in a situation like this, when you're in places like this, you can certainly have loss of signal, and that's what they're having right now. But before that went out, that was some large hail falling. But again, that's your inflow notch. possible tornado is right here. Hanceville is right here. Alabama Highway 91 right here. That runs from Hanceville back up to Holly Pond. U.S. Highway 278 right here. And again, inflow notch, potential circulation right here. And if we could put the storm attributes on there, Charles, again, sometimes we like to see these. These are algorithms, and sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not so good, but any information we can have is very helpful. But I would like to see that if we can possibly put that on here. But the bottom line is that is a severe storm with a possible tornado that is in Coleman County, northeast of Hanceville, between Hanceville and the community of Walter. And let's see here, tornado impact 0.0, and that's the time where you don't buy that one.
Yeah, it might be an archived an attribute. We might wait for the next scan or two to come up, so just give us a second.
Right, I'm looking at this thing, and
Right,
it is a very well-defined circulation here.
Right.
Okay, so now the lower box, this is the Winston County storm near Lynn in Winston County. So again, we're watching multiple storms in multiple counties, and again, that's an interesting live shot there in the upper left. This is where people shelter, okay? And let me just say this. You know, some people say, well, I wouldn't get in that thing. You would if you have to. And if you are in a manufactured home or you don't feel comfortable or you want to be in a perfectly safe place, you go there. And people have chosen to do that, and you know what? It's better to be safe than sorry, and I think that's a great call. It's great that we have these community storm shelters. It's a marvelous thing, and we're certainly glad that they're there. There's some parts of the state where people don't have a place to go, especially people that live in manufactured housing. So again, down there in the lower box, that is from Lynn in Winston County. The upper box, that's the Skycam at Aniana. And we'll be watching this storm that is crossing Highway 91, that'll be crossing over into Blount County. And again, that's the reason we have the tornado warning in effect here. So getting more reports of really large hail in through here, Charles. I mean, this is, these things are really dropping some hail this evening. Let me go back to WEX 05 if we can, just take it full screen. This is hail coming from Coleman. Goodness, we tried to, you know, Charles, we did our best to communicate hail is going to be a big problem here.
Right.
You know, it looked like the profiles would certainly support that, and that is some very large hail.
And we saw one of the chasers, his window's all busted out.
Yeah, check this out. This is Good Hope.
Wow.
In Coleman County. And again, this is what it's been looking like, and that's enough to break windows, that's enough to damage your roof, it's enough to damage your car. And that is never a good thing to see. But we got many reports of this large type hail falling. Let me go up to another shot of hail that's falling in Good Hope. This was reports of golf ball to baseball sized hail in Good Hope. And this is going to be a shot from downtown Coleman. And you can imagine the vertical velocity that these things achieve on the way down. This is from Coleman. And again, you'll see video here. Is that windshield cracked back there?
I bet it is.
Goodness. And you know, sometimes there's just nowhere to put your car. I mean, it's just, you're at the mercy of what happens sometimes with these storms. And again, this is what it looked like in Coleman earlier this evening. Many, many, many shots of these large hailstones are coming in. The car is just being battered back there in the back. And remember, we're not here for hail doing the TV coverage. We're here because we have a tornado warning. And as we watch these videos and images, I want to stress, we do have a tornado warning for eastern Coleman and northern Blount counties. If you're in the places we've called out, Walter, Holly Pond, Blountsville, Susan Moore, Sneed, Blountsville, you got to be in a safe place. So again, we'll go back and show some more shots here. This is between the Walmart Distribution Center and the Good Hope city limits. And this is from the city of Coleman. That thing almost looks like a golf ball, doesn't it? So again, this is an example of this. This is from Coleman as well. And that's pretty compact stuff there. That looks like it could really produce a lot of damage. One more shot here from Coleman I saw, and then we'll go back to the radar. But this is what we have going on. And if you have not had a storm today, you might have that tonight. So just understand that. This is kind of a warning for you that these storms are propagating on down to the south. And understand It's going to keep on going. So let's go back to the main graphic system behind me, and let me just show that we have these multiple storms. Look at this thing. The structure of these things is really starting to look impressive. I mean,
I'm surprised that one's, that's got a nice little rotation
that deal
to
right
it.
there, I mean, that looks like a supercell storm that is in Winston County, and I'm just saying these things are lining up like trains on a track. So we could conceivably have a number of more tornado warnings here. I don't like the way this looks, but we have multiple severe storms lined up through parts of North Alabama's Winston, Coleman, and Blount counties, and you can see the structure on these things are just tremendous. Absolutely tremendous this evening. So, Charles, but again, I've not heard of any damage in Coleman. Have you?
I haven't seen anything other than the hail and what damage that's caused. That's the only thing I've been monitoring. We heard of some trees earlier up towards Battleground, and that was about it. And that was right along the county line earlier. But that's good news. We'll take no damage all day long. I think we'll be happy with that. But certainly some good indications of rotation that we've been following. I'd be surprised if we don't see anything else coming up soon. But you know, words that windshields are busted out of cars, so just know that's an issue. We saw that, I mean, just from our one of our chasers as well. And so that large hail is going to be an issue. We talked about it this morning on midday. You could see some baseball-sized hail. And the radar data just drops out occasionally behind James there. Don't fret about that. It'll come back. But we do know that the hail will be damaging in many ways through the rest of the evening hours. A lot of people are going to need some roof work done by the time we get to tomorrow. Just know that's going to be a possibility for tomorrow.
Let's take WEX 05 again. Just want to show a couple of shots again, and then we're going to go back to radar and focus on that. But that's,
oh my gosh.
That's what's going on here in Coleman. This was just nasty.
And that's not just to hurt your car, that'll hurt you. I mean, that can cause serious injury.
Right. If you were outside in this, it could cause great injury. Again, that's some hail in Coleman, and I'm telling you, the velocity these things achieve, it's pretty remarkable. Saw an image of a car that had really taken a beating up in through here. You can see all these shots of hail coming in from Coleman County, but I wanted to show, in fact, this is...
They just issued for Etowah County a tornado warning.
Okay, got a tornado warning for Etowah. So let's go back to the main graphic system. What I want to do is take off the radar data and show only the polygons. This is going to be for northern Etowah, so let's just stop it right there. We've got a tornado warning in effect now for northern Blount, and it looks like the Weather Service in Huntsville has allowed the warning for Coleman to expire. So Coleman County no longer under a tornado warning. We have a tornado warning for basically all of Marshall, northern Blount, and the northern part of Etowah right in through. Let's zoom into Etowah County a little bit. And again, this is going to be north of the city of Gadsden, okay? So we'll zoom into Etowah County, Charles. We can do that a little bit right here. And I want to show some of the towns in this polygon up in through here. Gadsden's down here, okay? So this does not include Etowa. This does not include Southside. This does not include Gadsden. This does not include Rainbow City. I want to make that perfectly clear. All right, this is going to include Mountainboro. This will include Sardis. This will include Duck Springs, Scrouge out over here. You know, Vic Bell used to live in Scrouge out. Turkey Town. This is over here on US 411. That's near the Cherokee County line over here. But it's this northern part of Etowah County. So that is the tornado warning. And again, I stress, you might hear a warning down in Gadsden, but this does not include the city of Gadsden. This is the northern part of Etowah County. So Sardis City, Mountainboro, Duck Springs, over to Turkey Town. That's the area under the tornado warning. So let's put the radar data on here. And what we've got a circulation.
Come back to it there.
It's awfully close to Bluntsville. And again, you know, we've got so much going on here. We break away from time to time to show some hail pictures, but understand this is an extremely dangerous storm. Don't play around with this thing. If you are in any of the towns that we have called out, you've got to be in a safe place because the rotation on radar continues to look fairly impressive. And I'll be shooting straight with you. We have multiple circulations here, but this is the rotation near Bluntsville. Okay, this is Good Hope, and they've got nothing going on there. So let's go back to the radar. All this stuff has come on through Good Hope. So again, this is the circulation near Bluntsville. That'll be crossing over 79 over here to 75, and that's Susan Moore. So everybody in Sneed and Susan Moore, you need to be sheltered. But we've got a really tight circulation that is in Marshall County. In fact, let's go to the high-res radar behind me, and let me show you what we've got here. This is a circulation that is extremely tight. That could be a tornado down right now. This is Albertville, and this is Douglas. That's the reason that we have northern Etowah County under a tornado warning. This will be approaching Sardis City and Mountain Borough, but this is US 431 right here that goes up on Sand Mountain. You come out of Etowa, you go up the mountain, Sardis City is right here, and that is just nasty looking. That is a very violent looking storm, and that is getting very close to Boaz and Albertville. Anybody on Sand Mountain, Boaz and Albertville, then down into northern Etowah County, coming down the mountain, you need to be sheltered right now. This has kind of popped up, and this is a very violent-looking storm. So we have a tornado warning in effect up here for Marshall County, Boaz to Albertville. Nobody should be driving along US 431, and northern Etowah County is right in through here. This circulation is violent, but it will not affect the city of Gadsden. This will stay well north of Gadsden. Remember, these polygons account for vast error, so there's a lot of space in there, and if you're not in the polygon, you're good. If you're in it, you've got to do something, and nobody should be driving in these polygons. Nobody. You pull off, you go to a gas station, a restaurant, they'll take you in, and you just sit and wait these things out. I know it's inconvenient, you might be in a hurry, but you have to assess risk in life, and it's just not worth it, okay? And there's no severe weather in Gadsden, so we're going to hold that shot for just a second. We're going to focus on the most dangerous part of this. So again, this is going to be scooting across northern Etowah County, Sardis City, Duck Springs, all these places up there, Charles. You've got to be in a good, safe place right now. So let's go back to you. And again, well, Charles, we have the dual threat of this large hail and the tornadoes.
And it looks like they issued a flash flood warning for Coleman County. You know, this has been training over the same spot just over and over again. So flooding, flash flooding is also going to be a concern along that whole 278 corridor. And you can see, I mean, I can loop this over the last hour. You can see it's just kind of laid itself out right along that corridor. Heavy rain, hail, flash flood warning now has been issued in Coleman County, I believe, until 1:30 in the morning. That means it's going to be a while. There's a lot of rain, and you can see that, of course, it's going to continue for some time, at least for a while longer here on that 278 corridor. And that's in Coleman County, but just know, even into parts of Winston and into Blount and Etowah County, we're going to see that heavy rain with that as well. So again, we advise you don't be outside. You don't want to be out there on the roads until these storms clear, until the storms pass. But if you do, I know those first responders that do have to get out there, and you guys have to do what you have to do. Please use extra caution out there as well. But again, the strongest rotation that we've seen is moving into Blount County and continuing to move east, and then also up towards Albertville and Boaz. You've got that circulation as well. If you're in Blountsville, it's about to move out. Give yourself 5 more minutes in the safe place. Susan Moore, you need to be in that safe place. Brooksville as well. Anywhere along 278, all the way down and north of Altoona, you need to be in that safe place. Now, if you're in northern fringe of Etowah County, Mountain Borough, Sardis City, Turkey Town, Scrouge Out, you need to be in your safe place immediately and let this storm pass by.
Let me mention, as we keep the radar full screen, this is a report from Welty in Coleman County. Large hail, took a bunch of shingles off a house, busted all the windows out of my truck, and some structural damage. And this is from hail. From this stuff that's come through here, and the images are pretty stunning. And you know, we'll show all these hail pictures as we have time to do that. But again, we got to stay with the focus, which is this tornado threat. So let's go back to the high resolution radar behind me, WEX-05 behind me, and I want to show the 2 areas of circulation that we're concerned about. All right, number 1 is right here. This is fairly broad. This has come on through Blountsville, and it's coming in on Susan Moore. All right, so next is going to be Altoona down the line here. So if you are in Susan Moore, Sneed, Altoona, this is north of Aniana. Aniana is not in the warning. You need to be sheltered. That's a fairly broad circulation, but understand there still could be a tornado there. So that is tornado number 1. Tornado number 2 is the circulation up here that's coming up on Boaz, and that is about to cross U.S. Highway 431, and that circulation, that's the reason for northern Etowah County being under a tornado warning here. Because these are moving south of due east, that southward component of motion will probably carry this down into northern Etowah County. So again, 1 tornadic circulation approaching Susan Moore in Blount County, 1 tornadic circulation near Boaz in Marshall County. So let's take a Gadsden shot looking north, and all we can see is lightning here. Now we're in pitch darkness, and we don't have that, okay? So maybe we'll get one coming from...
I'll get the sky cam up and running.
Right, and again, I'm watching all of these streams from our chasers out in the field, and if you guys see something, this is going to be our sky cam in downtown Gadsden. And again, we're not
all the way around.
Yeah, we're not going to see much from there, but again, the call to action, it's for those of you in Susan Moore, Sneed, Altoona. Be in a safe place. If you are in Boaz, Albertville, Duck Springs, you need to be in a safe place. Sardis City, you've got to be in a safe place because these storms are based on the atmospheric conditions. These are very easily capable of producing, some problems here. So in terms of tornadoes, large hail, we have had that all night long. So Sardis City, Whitesboro out by the school, Baptist Church, Duck Springs. These are communities up in northern Etowah County. You guys need to be in a safe place. This thing will be, the second circulation is going to be crossing Interstate 59 north of Gadsden if it holds together around Duck Springs, and then ultimately perhaps coming up over toward Lookout Mountain, and then over toward US 411 and Turkeytown, which is between Gadsden and the Cherokee County line. So let's go back to the big picture, if you will. This is going to be the main graphic system we'll put back here. And if we can kind of expand this thing out, Charles, I want to show everybody what's going on here because we focus on the dangerous storms. And it's this cluster right here. And we got a flash flood warning in effect for Coleman County because the storms have been training over the same area. Just storm after storm after storm like trains on a track. And again, this lead batch is again coming over here toward northern Etowah, parts of southern Marshall, northern Blunt, and we have the tornado warnings in effect here for two distinct circulations, not one but two. At the moment, there's nothing at Tuscaloosa, nothing at Birmingham, nothing at Anniston. You could see something later. But we talked about this. The storms are going to be isolated. Not everybody's going to see a storm, but where they do form, they're going to pack a punch, and they're certainly doing that now. So let's go back to our two circulations up and through here. And again, the two tornado warning polygons, one for northern Blunt, the second one for Marshall and northern Etowah. And these are two distinct circulations. And again, we're still seeing that inflow notch right here. And again, this particular thunderstorm is going to be passing near Susan Moore. And again, there could be a tornadic circulation here. You got Sneed here, Susan Moore right down in through here, and that's where we might have a tornado at this point. These things are rain wrapped. We've got 8 live spotters in the field, but you can't see anything out here with all these trees and all these hills, and at night. You just can't do this. This is Alabama. This is not Kansas. It's a different type of storm we have here. But we're going to do our best. We're still watching these streams, and if you get a lightning bolt at the right time, you might see something. But again, that'll be crossing right over through Susan Moore and then coming back over toward Altoona, which is right down and through here. That's US Highway 278. Walnut Grove is right here. So again, Susan Moore, Sneed, Altoona, Walnut Grove. You need to be sheltered. And then over into ultimately Etowah County. We'll see how that plays out. The second circulation, this is the one that's coming down through northern Etowah County. We're encouraging everybody at Boaz, and I mean everybody in Boaz needs to be sheltered right now, and that'll be scooting down through northern Etowah County. You've got Sardis City, Whitesboro, Mountainboro, Duck Springs, Turkeytown, Wills Valley down through here. All of this is where you've got to be sheltered right now. This does not affect the city of Gadsden. If you live in Southside, Rainbow City, Attala, you're not in the polygon. This is all the far northern part of Etowah County. So again, that'll be scooting across the northern part. Let's go back to the high-res radar and we'll kind of look at this thing. I will say that the circulation at Susan Moore, again, continues to be somewhat disorganized, which is a good thing. This is the circulation that is at Susan Moore. It's kind of broad. Tornado warning is still in effect. We can't say there's no risk here.
And they've expanded a severe thunderstorm warning in from Blunt into St. Clair County as well. With,
right, and I think that's
damaging wind and large hail.
Right, that's probably a smart thing to do. But again, we've got this tornado warning for a while for Blunt County, and that's for the storm coming through Susan Moore. The circulation that is the most impressive is the one up here on Sand Mountain. It's almost right on top of Boaz and US 431. And that'll be crossing over US 431, then coming down in the valley down in through here. So again, everybody at Sardis City and Whitesboro and Duck Springs, you need to be sheltered, and that is a small room on the lowest floor near the center, away from windows. No mobile homes, no cars. In terms of travel, nobody should be traveling up Alabama Highway 75 or 79 out of Aniana for now. Nobody should be traveling along US 431 on Sand Mountain, and we advise no travel on Interstate 59 north of Gadsden for these various circulations. And again, we have two distinct circulations. So let's go back and take off the main graphic system, and let's take off the radar data. I want to show the polygons again. So here we go. We have a severe thunderstorm warning polygon for Winston County right here. This is the northeastern part of Winston County. A severe thunderstorm warning for Coleman County, and a flash flood warning for Coleman County for the storms training over the same area. We have a tornado warning in effect for northern Blount County, okay? This is the area right in here north of Aniana, and a tornado warning in effect for northern Etowah County, and this includes areas north of Gadsden. So two distinct tornado warnings, this one for northern Blount, and this one for Marshall, southeastern Marshall, and northern Etowah, and for southern DeKalb County as well. As this circulation is going to be coming down off Sand Mountain and then down here in the valley, down toward Duck Springs and Whitesboro. So all those places we talked about, you've got to be in a safe place. We have not had major damage to my knowledge tonight, but still understand conditions favor tornadoes. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning for Etowah County. And this is going to include the city of Gadsden. So here's your warning for St. Clair. This includes Asheville and points north. This does not include Pell City. This is a severe thunderstorm warning for the rest of Etowah County, not in the tornado warning. So if you're in Gadsden, Southside, Rainbow City, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning. And keep in mind, all of these things are producing hail. That has been the biggest story, I think, so far tonight. It's the hail that these are producing. In fact, we probably ought to show some more of these images. The images are pretty amazing from the hailstones we've seen. Let's just show a few of these real quick. Let's go back to Wexo 5. Okay, this is Hanceville, and I probably have 1,000 pictures of large hail that look just like that. And this is not some knucklehead that went out and got some ice cubes. These are all legitimate, and that's 2-inch diameter hail. In some cases, I had one report that they believed it was a little larger than baseball sized. This is coming from the Good Hope Fire Department. And a lot of people in Coleman and Good Hope have been dealing with this. Wow. Golf ball sized hail that looks like golf balls. I mean, that's actual hail coming from Coleman County earlier this evening. Another shot from Coleman County. This is very, very common. This is also from Coleman County. Look at that autographed baseball. Charles, is that your signature on that thing?
Wow. Look
Charles
at the size of
Daniels,
that
star
hail.
shortstop.
Right. We've got word that there's some damage, and they're trying to get out of the shelter. Stephen Quinn took shelter at the Coleman County EMA, and that they're trying to get out of the shelter and establish a shot, but there's some damage there. And I don't know if they're having trouble that they can't get out of the shelter, but that's what they're working on, James. So I know we're working on getting Stephen and our photographer, Chris McCulley, I think, is with him. Out and to get some report. I don't know if we could just get him on the phone. That'd be great too. He can kind of relay what's going on there. Let
me relay a report from Coleman. My parents live by the Walmart in Coleman. Windows are broken in their house. My parents were horrified. They heard a train sound. Worst storm they've ever experienced. And I'm afraid we're going to have a lot of damage. I mean, a lot of hail damage to roofs and vehicles.
And this says there's some possible damage at the jail.
Yeah, that's a window that's cracked in Coleman.
Oh, my gosh.
And I'm afraid we're going to see a lot of this. This is just not a good situation. For those that are just watching, we're here for a tornado warning that is in effect. We have two separate circulations. We have circulations in effect, one that's near Susan Moore in Blount County, and we have one circulation that is coming off of Sand Mountain near Boaz, coming down toward Sardis City and Whitesboro and Duck Springs. And that's the reason we're here. We're not here to show hail pictures, but we're taking this opportunity to let you know what has been going on. And where storms form this evening, this is what you're going to have. And if there's a way you can get your car into a sheltered place, we tried to describe this danger during the course of the day today, but it's pretty rough. So let's go back to the radar. And again, what you've got here, this is a cluster of severe storms. In some cases, you have large hail. In some cases, you have circulations. In some cases, you've got both. And if you're in any of these warnings we're talking about, you just want to be in a safe place. You see this right here? hailstones probably the size of a 5-gallon drum in this thing. I mean, these are huge hailstones falling. This is east of Sneed in Blount County, and again, that's going to be crossing over into extreme northern Etowah County, and we have to be careful here because we've got the dual threat of this very large hail, damaging, destructive hail, and also these tornadoes. So what I want to do is go back and look at the, with a situation like this, it's going to be hard to see much by looking at reflectivity in terms of the tornado threat. So let's go really quickly back to the velocity data with WEX 05. And let me show you a couple of areas here. We've still got the two circulations. We've got one that's near Altoona. This is the southern circulation. This is the one that came through Bluntsville, Susan Moore, and now it's near Altoona. And if that keeps on moving a little south of due east, that'll be coming up on top of Chandler Mountain, where they grow the best tomatoes in the world, and then it'll be coming down and maybe crossing Interstate 65. So we got a circulation there, and we've got a circulation up here, again, near or just east or southeast of Boaz, near Sardis City. And again, that'll be dropping off of Sand Mountain coming down here into the valley. Both of these, quite frankly, don't look as tight as we've seen earlier this evening. They're fairly broad, but again, the Weather Service, I think, is doing the right thing in...
James, I think we've got Brian. I think he's getting hit by hail.
Yeah, Brian? Let's see, Brian, where are you?
Yeah.
Go.
Hi, James. I am in Good Hope at a
Oh, this is Stephen. Stephen Quinn.
major shopping mall, and I am
Brian P., I'm
literally
sorry, I can't see who's under that hood.
pelted with hail right now. Take a look at some of these. Take a look at the size of this hail here. It's huge, and it's been a downpour, and now the hail is starting again. And I got hit on the head by some of the hail here, and let me tell you, it hurts. This place, there's only a few people here. They're just down a few feet away from me. There are a couple of people just down the sidewalk here, trying to stay covered under this awning outside Palm Beach Tan at this shopping mall. The rain is really coming down here. The hail is coming down. Major storm here.
Yeah, and Brian,
Bill, let me get you to come over here.
Let me just say that the tornado warning for Blount County has been canceled. So if you're in Blount County, the tornado warning has been canceled. The only tornado warning for our market, northern Etowah. So, Brian, go ahead.
Yeah, James, I was going to say, just on the other side of the mall from where we are, and we're going to go check this out in a few minutes, but there's a fire engine over there. The lights are flashing. We're going to go check it out. But, man, this storm is the rain is really coming down. The hail is really coming down. We're in the middle of a severe thunderstorm right here.
Yeah, and I will say I'm a little uncomfortable with you being out there in this, Brian. We've got lightning, and that hail can be damaging. So I'm going to ask that you get into a shelter, get into your truck there. And if you guys can leave the camera up.
Good idea.
You get sheltered, and if you guys can leave the camera up, it preferably in a sheltered place, we can stay with that. And Charles, he's in Coleman.
I think it was Good Hope, I think is what he said.
Good Hope, yeah. Okay. Wow. And again, yeah, I'm looking at that hail shaft right now. That hail core is right on top of him. That's about to cross over I-65, and this is just brutal. I mean, wave after wave after wave has been coming through Coleman County with this incredible hail. We've got large hail probably falling now in other...
windshield bashed in?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
That's a bad day.
This is, let me tell you what, this is going to produce extensive damage in these areas where this stuff has been coming through here. This is just horrifying. This is going to be a situation where we're going to have roofs that have to be replaced, car windows have to be replaced, windows and homes have to be replaced. And we're very fortunate that, to my knowledge, nobody's been injured in this stuff. But again, the reason we wanted Brian in, I'm not big on anybody being out in lightning to start with. That lightning scares me to death. And then when you got hail that large falling out there, that could hurt somebody. But I'm seeing multiple hail cores through parts of North Alabama. The one you've got here is at Good Hope. We have another one that's in Blount County, a little northeast of Bluntsville, another one north of Walnut Grove, and these are just like trains on a stinking track, a bad train. a bad series of trains with large hail, potential for tornadoes, and this is just nasty. And again, this is sagging on down to the south, and it will continue to do that. And if you've not had a storm today, you're blessed. Instead of griping about it, just consider yourself blessed. And you might have a storm this evening. This is far from over. This tornado watch extends until 11 o'clock tonight.
Hail's starting to pick back up. You see it?
Yep. And again, if you're just joining us, this is a live look at very large hail that is falling in Coleman County, south of the city of Coleman, down at Good Hope. And this would be probably a little to the east of I-65, up Alabama 69. And we're trying to get Brian and his photographer kind of sheltered within the vehicle they're in to keep them out of the elements, to protect them from the lightning and the hail that's falling. But goodness gracious, that is just, that is something you do not want to see. And again, all the images coming in, we're just seeing some stuff that just is, I'm afraid we're going to have a lot of damage here. A whole lot of damage. And this, Charles, the thing about it, it's fairly widespread. This is not just in one spot.
Right.
We've got hail like this falling in multiple counties, in parts of Winston and Morgan and Franklin and Lawrence and Blount and Etowah and Marshall. And this is just something that is not exclusive to Coleman County, although these images are coming in from Coleman County. And again, I don't know if that's some debris.
I'd be surprised to see some more of that hail like that in Walnut Grove right now. But
yeah, the Walnut Grove, the Ville is off the scale in that thing. It's just basically off the scale. But again, we want to stress the tornado warning for Blount County has been canceled, Charles. So we're down to one tornado warning for northern Etowah. Northern Etowah County, and again, by northern Etowah County, I'm talking folks north of Reese City. This does not include Gadsden. This includes places like Sardis City, Whitesboro, Duck Springs, Turkeytown. That's our one tornado warning left right here. And again, this is Gadsden. That's your tornado warning polygon for that far northern part of the county for a circulation that's coming down from Boaz off the mountain down into the valley. And if the circulation continues, that thing could be crossing Interstate 59 relatively soon. And the circulation, again, it's fairly broad, but it's there. Let's put behind me WEX 05. This is going to be the velocity display. And again, that's your circulation. And you've got Sardis City right here, Mountain Borough here, Whitesboro is over here, Boaz is here. So in the process now, it's coming down off of Sand Mountain, down into the valley, and that'll be crossing near Duck Springs and then crossing Interstate 59. And we'll see how it stays intact here. But again, there's enough circulation there as to where the Weather Service believes they need to maintain that warning. And Charles, this tornado warning for Etowah County is in effect until...
I believe it was 8:30, was it not?
We got so many warnings on the board tonight. Goodness, I'll let you figure that one out. It's 8:30, right? 8:30. So they might cancel it before then. But the good thing in terms of the tornado risk at the moment, this is the only tornado warning we have in our market. It's for northern Etowah County. All right, and again, that's going to be scooting through here. And while we have this radar up, let me put on a product called Vertical Integrated Liquid. And wow, when you see these whites,
slide down towards Asheville there and take a look.
Yeah.
I don't know if you get the latest update or maybe
well,
the
first
next
off,
sweep.
this is what Brian is dealing with.
Right.
White is max. That's 80 kilograms per cubic meter. All right, that's maxed out. So you got that at Good Hope. You got another one over here that is located between Sneed and Walnut Grove. That's maxed out. And again, this could be baseball-sized hail. Hail is falling very close to Asheville, and again, that could be coming right on top of Asheville. That's not maxed out. That's probably smaller hail. And then up in the storm that's producing a possible tornado coming out of Boaz, more than likely hail is falling here. But again, the largest hail based on the Ville right now is going to be what's falling near, really near Walnut Grove. And this is where Blount and Etowah counties come together. And was that a new tornado warning polygon I see here? No, I think that's the same one. That's the same one for Etowah County until 8:30. But again, this hail is really, really, really means business. And again, look at Asheville. Yeah, that thing is ramped up now. It's pegged. That's 80 kilograms per cubic meter, which is a sign there could be some very large hail falling there. I'll take off the Ville. Let's put back on the reflectivity. And yeah,
I tell you what, the velocity is
That's-
starting to come together too.
I don't like the way that thing looks. That thing looks bad.
It's starting to rotate.
You see the hook right here. So what we're going to do is put on the reflectivity or the velocity display, and again, it's broad. There's not a tight circulation here, but when you start to see that thing looking like that, that's just not a really good sign. So that is a storm we have to watch, and again, that's passing very close to Asheville. That hook in the tail is going to come through Asheville. And again, that's a severe thunderstorm warning in effect here, of course, and that'll be crossing over into Calhoun County. Ohatchee is right here. That's Alabama Highway 77 that goes up to Southside in Gadsden and Rainbow City. But again, that is very large hail falling northeast of Asheville. That's going to be coming right across Shoal Creek Valley. If you're in Shoal Creek Valley, you might have hailstones the size of baseballs. And again, we have had, when these storms have been coming through particular parts of the state, we've had a lot of damage. Roof damage, windows blown out, car windshields destroyed, cars damaged with dents all over them. So this is a very destructive night for hail in the state. And again, this might be, one of these nights where that's going to be the big story. We've not had that much tornado damage so far, but we have probably had extensive hail damage across the state. Let's go to the big picture behind me, the big radar, the Max 1. And what I want to do is show some more of the hail images coming in from across the state. We thank everybody for taking the time to send these to us because your pictures are our window to the world. Yeah, check this out. This is what we've got here. I mean, this is going to be common. Folks that are coming out to these windshields that are just totally shattered like that. This is the back window of a car, or what used to be the back window of a car in Coleman, and you can still see those large hailstones in there. There's nothing left of that back window. It's just gone. Again, not only do you have the damage from the windshields, you've got damage to the bodies of these cars with the dents that this stuff can fall. This was taken from Welty in Coleman County, and again, we're going to have a pile of videos coming in, and we'll be watching these. But again, this is an example of some of this very large hail that was falling in Coleman County earlier this evening. So again, let's go back to the main graphics behind us. If you're just joining us here, it is 8 o'clock. This is ABC 3340, WBMA Birmingham. We have a tornado warning in effect now for northern Etowah County, a severe thunderstorm warning for the rest of Etowah County, a severe thunderstorm warning for St. Clair County. This is for large hail, and I mean large hail. We're not fooling around whenever we say large hail. Baseball, maybe softball size in some of these storms. We have a severe thunderstorm warning for northern Blount County, same thing, for hail. We have a severe thunderstorm warning for Coleman County, same thing, large hail. And in the case of a night like this, it could very well be that the most destruction is going to be from hail. Now, there's some good news to tell you. We got some counties cleared from the Tornado Watch back in through here. Up in North Alabama, let's bump it down a little bit, Charles, so we can see the Tennessee state line. Now, Madison has been cleared, Morgan, Lawrence, Lauderdale, Colbert, Franklin, and Limestone. Those counties have been cleared from the Tornado Watch. The tornado risk is over, but for the counties in yellow, the tornado threat continues until 11 o'clock tonight. And again, we stress this is a PDS Tornado Watch, a particularly dangerous situation in that we have potential for extremely large hail and a few tornadoes. And where tornadoes do form, if one storm can become dominant without having to compete for moisture, that could produce a long-track tornado. It has not happened so far tonight. The storms have been tightly clustered, which is a good thing. They fight, they compete for that moisture. And again, for now, we're down to this one tornado warning, northern Etowah, southern DeKalb counties up here in northeast Alabama. And again, we advise no traveling along Interstate 59 between Gadsden and Collinsville for about the next 15 minutes. I'd say I wouldn't try until 8:30. And besides, if you don't have a tornado, you might wind up with your windshield taken out by hail. I don't even want to know for the people that tried to drive along Interstate 65 during that Coleman County hailstorm what happened. Hopefully they heard the warning and they pulled off, but it's been brutal. So I would certainly not be driving along Interstate 59 because, if nothing else, of this very large hail, but certainly because of the chance of a tornado from Gadsden to Collinsville. But again, the tornado warning is for areas north of Gadsden. Again, this is basically from Reese City north up into southern DeKalb County up to Collinsville. This includes Sardis City, Whitesboro, Duck Springs, Reese City, Turkeytown. Turkeytown is on US 411 between Gadsden and Center and Leesburg up and through here. And we'll see if the Weather Service extends this over into Cherokee County. We'll watch the velocity images pretty carefully on radar. At the moment, the circulation is fairly broad. Well, there we go. Tornado warning for Cherokee County. Here's a new tornado warning. This is in effect for much of Cherokee County. This includes Cedar Bluff, Leesburg, Center, Galesville. So the call to action now is for those of you in Cherokee County to go to a safe place. That is a small room on the lowest floor near the center, away from windows. This is a storm that has been rotating for a while. It has been steadily rotating, and again, it could be rotating right now. In fact, let's go back to the high-resolution radar.
And we had a question, James, folks in Sardis City and Mountain Borough were asking. They still need to be in their safe place right now.
Yes. In fact, this is your circulation right here. And what I want to do, I want to look at this maybe from a different radar, so I'm going to pop on the Huntsville radar just to get a second opinion, if you will. And again, you can see that there's clearly some circulation going on through here, but I think Birmingham is probably going to be the best choice. The radar beam is going to be a few thousand feet off the ground. The way radar works, radar goes in a straight line. The Earth curves. So as the beam gets farther away from the radar side, it's higher and higher. And it's preferable to detect